So at A&MP this past weekend, after one of the sessions at the evening time, we were at the bar, and somebody I met for the first time, a new friend now, I think his name was Todd Collins, great guy. I was waiting at the bar for the bartender to come over. I don't drink normally, maybe once a month at most, and I was going to get an old fashioned and just hang out with some friends after the event was over that night. And he's standing next to me, and he says, "Hey, drinks on me. You just got to answer one question for me." I said, "Deal, okay." So we order the drink, and the question comes, and he says, "Give me one tip. Give me like what tip jumps into your mind right now that you can give me that will help me in really massively expanding my network marketing business?" And I thought for a second. And I said, "I'm sure glad you said that." And I paused. And I said, "What I'm going to teach you right now that you can teach to your team is something that could be massive to overcome objections and or to validate somebody who is interested in saying that they're interested." So let me explain this. Normally when you are dealing with a prospect and the person is objecting. Maybe they say, "I don't have the time," or "I don't have the money. I wouldn't be good at this. I've tried this kind of thing before." It's a pyramid scheme. Anything that they say that is an objection that you want to get past so that you can basically change their mind or help them to make a good decision and join you, the answer or your response should always be validation. Even if it's a negative sentiment, like "I don't have the money, I don't have the time, it wouldn't be worth my time, I've tried those things before, I'm not good at that, it's a pyramid," whatever. So whatever they say, your answer is, "I'm sure glad you said that." And then you pivot. So let me explain to you what I'm saying. So I'll give you an example. Your prospect says, "I don't have the time for a side business." My answer would be, "Hey, John, I'm so glad you said that, because this business is perfectly designed for people that don't have time." See, the thing is, you don't have time, but I do. And you can introduce me to people that you know that I don't. And I can show them what this business is about. I can recruit them for you, and I can help get them up, onboarded and launched and making money. And you'll be busy in your life doing what you do, yet getting paid on all these people's efforts. How does that sound? Or, "Hey, I don't have any money to get started." "Hey, John, I'm sure glad you said that. This business is perfectly designed for people that don't have money. Matter of fact, you don't have money, but guess what? You don't need that in order to start getting this business going. So you can introduce me to people that do have the money, and I can show them how the business works and get them signed up. And we'll get you set up and then put them underneath of you, and you'll get credit. So that way now you got money coming in from minute zero." How does that sound? Where you don't need to have money to make money. He might say, "Well, Brian, I've tried these things before. I'm not good at it. It's not for me." "Oh, John, I'm sure glad you said that. This business is perfectly designed for people that are not really good at marketing or sales. Matter of fact, you might not be good at it. You might not think you're good at it, but I bet you know people that would be. So I want you to introduce me to a few people. I'll show this business to them. They'll get excited. They'll start sharing this with everybody they know and signing people up. And you'll keep on getting paid your overrides while you're at home, not being good at it." How does that sound? "Brian, I'm just not interested." "Hey, John, I'm sure glad you said that. This business is perfectly designed for people that are not interested, because even though you're not interested, you know people that will be. And if you could lead me to them, I'll get them excited about it, sign them up, and you'll get paid while you're sitting on your couch being uninterested. You cool with that? Does that sound good? Let's go." Or it could be a positive thing. It could be, "Yeah, I really like this, and I don't have residual income. That would be a great idea for me to start getting some residual income coming in. Hey, John, I'm sure glad you said that. This business is perfectly designed for people that really want some passive residual cash flow. And so all we need to do is get you set up. We'll start sharing the information out with some folks that you know. Those people sign up. Not only getting paid right now, but you're going to be getting paid indefinitely into the future as long as they remain a customer. I'm glad you're excited about it. Let's go." So again, you guys, I wanted to share that tip because the gentleman that bought me that drink, that old fashioned, which tasted actually kind of good, and it tasted better while it was in my hand, talking to some new and some old friends there at the lobby bar at the West End in Dallas. I don't care about drinking. I just care about rallying around a drink. That's what it's about for me. So that tip that I gave him, if he remembers it and implements it, I bet it's going to make him an absolute fortune. Now, you didn't have to buy me a drink. You just had to click the volume button to listen to me as you were scrolling and you saw that I was actually going live. Hopefully, this free tip I just gave you is going to make you an absolute fortune as well. So, I also have a few of my notes I want to go over. Just a few more minutes. A few of my notes from the A&P event. I spent the money and time to go spend Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and came home Sunday at the A&P event. I spoke for 20 minutes on Friday night, but the rest of it was me listening, learning, and leveling myself up. In life, you're growing or you're dying, you're getting ripe or you're getting rotten. And so I know that I need to go to these events, not just as a speaker. I need it for me. I need to fill up my cup. I need to fill up my soul. I need to level up my knowledge. So I'm going to share with you a few of my notes. One person on stage, I don't remember who said this one. I think it was, you know what? I think it was, who was it? I'll think about it in a second. So this trainer said, your comfort zone is exactly not that. The people who live in their comfort zone are broke. Broke in not just money, but in desire, belief, and achievement. I'm going to read that to you guys again one more time out of my notes because that is massive. Your comfort zone is exactly not that. The people who live in their comfort zone are broke. Broke in not just money, but in desire, belief, and achievement. That's pretty powerful. Because it's not just about not having money. Broke is not just not having money. There are a lot of people that are broke or broke in because they don't have desire, belief, achievement. They don't have drive. They're not involved in the thrill of the chase, building something great, creating a legacy, creating meaning, mattering in other people's lives. And so are you living in your comfort zone? And I'm going to be transparent with you guys right now. Transparently, I've been doing what I've been doing for 27 years full time in the same exact business. You can imagine after 27 years, there will be times where I was super pumped and jumping out of bed and excited. And there were days where I dragged myself out of bed. And I didn't begrudgingly build my business that day. It wasn't like it was that bad. But some days I just was not as driven or motivated or inspired as other days. We're all going to be like that. I think the true legends are the ones that wake up and do it anyway. One of my mentors said, master the mundane. Learn how to keep on doing the same mundane, monotonous stuff over and over and over again. And it will get boring and it will get monotonous and you will feel like, oh my gosh, do I want to do this again and again and again? But the legends push through and they do it. They build when it doesn't feel good. They build when it's not convenient. They don't make excuses. So all that to say, I have had times where because I made a lot of money and because I invested it well and I was, comfortable, financially comfortable, if you will, I have had days where I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of in my comfort zone. And although I decided to use my days or my time that day to do other things, which is great, spending with family or fishing or golfing or, whatever I was doing, there's typically for me when I find myself living in my comfort zone, something feels off. My spirit is missing something. And let me explain to you what I feel I was missing. I feel like I was out of alignment. I was incongruent. Because if I'm truthful, if I've not achieved what I know I can achieve, if I've not built what I know I can build and that I want to build, when I'm taking slow days or if I go on a vacation or whatever, and some of you guys might relate to this. Let me know if you can relate to this. Have you ever gone on vacation and you feel it's a fun vacation, you're enjoying it, but you kind of feel like, you got to get back in the trenches. It's like kind of pulling you back because you're drawn to it and you want to keep building. So yeah, I love vacations, but I also love building the empire. So that's kind of the kind of the tug of war. But what I'm saying is, when I feel like I'm in my comfort zone, yes, we need to recharge. Yes, we need to slow down from time to time. But I feel like I'm out of alignment. And the feeling, the best way to describe that is if your car has a wheel that is out of alignment. You can feel it in your steering wheel. It kind of shakes a little bit when you're going down the highway. I like a smooth ride in my car. I don't like the shake. I don't like to feel that my wheels are out of alignment. So that was an important note. I'm gonna give you another one. Leaders affect their environment. Leaders aren't affected by their environment. In other words, you can either be a thermometer or a thermostat. A thermometer, and they didn't say this, but I'm injecting this concept. A thermostat is different than a thermometer. A thermometer measures the room. It measures the temperature of the room. Okay? A thermometer is reactionary. It just tells you what the room is. A thermostat, you can actually change the temperature in the room. So leaders, yes, they are thermometers. Yes, leaders can read the room. They can be aware of the temperature. But leaders need to be the thermostat. Leaders affect change. And if the room is hot or cold, the leader acknowledges the temperature, but the leader's not affected by the temperature because the leader knows that they can change the temperature because they're a thermostat and they can just adjust it up or down as needed. Okay, let me give you another one. Gloria Mayfield Banks said, and this is really important, make big signs about your goals and put them all around your house, at least 5 of them. Put it in your bedroom, your bathroom, your refrigerator door, your car. And she even said, put a sign about your goals on your TV screen, like this. So you have to take it down to watch TV. Because, by the way, that TV is probably not additive towards you achieving your goals. Now, I love TV. Let me just be real. Okay, I'm candid about this. I'm not perfect, and I'm not like a robot. Like there's guilty pleasures that I enjoy, like going to the movies, like watching TV, whether it's Netflix or a game or whatever. Well, guess what? If you've built what you needed to build, and you've got the financial wherewithal so that you can actually enjoy all these guilty pleasures, and it doesn't impact your family or your finances, go for it. Like, that's what I've been able to do. I've been able to, now I can watch TV all as much as I want. Because of what I built, I've got that luxury. But along the way, 25 years ago, 28 years, 30 years ago, when I first got into network marketing and I hadn't built jack squat yet, I was actually struggling. You know what? I still watch TV, but I did it after hours. Way back when, I would actually have to record something or use a DVD or, heck, back then, a video cassette to be able to do stuff, to be able to entertain myself after hours. It would be like a reward for me. Like, when I went full-time in network marketing 27 years ago, I'm a night owl. So I would enjoy staying up until 2 o'clock in the morning and waking up at 10. I still got my 8 hours, but it was 2 in the morning till 10 in the morning. And then I would wake up at 10 and I would get up and get after it, do my 20 minutes of reading and I'd start hitting the phones. Whether it's calling prospects or calling the team or doing 3-way calls or booking appointments or all the stuff we do. And of course, I'd take a quick lunch and I'd have dinner, but in the evening time, when IPA, income producing activity time, was done, which was about on the East Coast where I lived, you can't call people after 9 o'clock. It's not appropriate. But I was so ambitious that I was calling people in Central, Mountain, and Pacific times. So legit, I could call and work until midnight. Which some nights I actually did. You might say, well, really? Yeah. You know what? You want to make tens of millions of dollars? You can't be a piker. A piker, if you're almost a boomer. I don't know what generation I am. I'm Anyway, if you've been around for a while, you might know the term piker, which was somebody that was on the turnpike. A 9-to-5er. Somebody who's sitting in rush hour traffic to and from work. So a piker, feels like, hey, I put in my full work day. I worked 9 to 5. Now everything after 5 is my time, like luxury time, relaxed time, whatever time. Well, okay. Well, pikers don't build empires. Just be real. Pikers basically need to have a job and go work for somebody who's building their empire. That's what happens. So I was willing to work until midnight. If I had a private conference call or a PBR to call into or a 3-way call, or if I needed to call and motivate my team or do some trainings for the West Coast folks, it was until midnight anyway. Let me get back to it. So I would watch TV late at night, like midnight to 1:30 in the morning. That was my decompression time. I would watch mindless TV, whatever it is. And so this is a long tangent, by the way. TV was a reward. It was not displacing my need to do my income producing activity. Okay. But many people, they can't fathom giving up their TV time or whatever their recreation or entertainment stuff is after hours, after dinner, or whatever. Well, again, if you want to build your empire, you've got to make some changes. You've got to take TV out of your life or do it in after hours when you can't do IPA. Okay. And if you can't stay up that late, then guess what? Then just remove it from your life or limit it quite dramatically. So again, Gloria was saying, put your goals on paper and tape it to your TV screen. So that way, when you're thinking about sitting down and giving up those hours of your life that you can't ever get back, if you're about to give it to a TV screen, when you see your goals, it might get you to get back up off the couch real quick before you even got your seat warm, and get out your prospect list or get out your team report and start making the phone calls. I would encourage you to consider doing that. One more thing. I got a bunch of appointments. Got one coming up here in 10 minutes. So I'll just look at a couple more notes here. Are you guys getting some value out of this? Hopefully you guys are finding some that this is good. And if you just joined, the big tip that I gave at the beginning, after this thing renders and it sits there on replay, go back and watch the beginning of this. I want you to hear about the Overcoming Objections $1 million tip that I learned from somebody else, from one of my mentors years ago. That's going to be, I think it's going to be very additive for you. So somebody else on stage this weekend said, people don't quit safety, they quit what frightens them. And that's pretty important as a leader and a team builder. People don't quit safety. Do the members of your team, do they feel safe? Do they feel confident that they're in a village that is going to take care of them? Do they feel like, and when we say people don't quit safety, they quit what frightens them. You have to give them not only a safe environment, but you have to give them some methodology that they feel they're not going to feel comfortable maybe doing the activity, like reaching out to strangers or posting on social media, whatever. But they need to feel safe, not comfortable, but safe. Like they're not going to get harmed. That they've got somebody who's helping them to get good at it, and along their side. It's not, hey, go do it. It's let's go do it. So, tell, show, try, do. Tell them what to do. Show them how to do it. Then let them try it. And then once you see that they're competent enough to do it on their own, then let them go do it. Tell, show, try, do. So anyway, they quit what frightens them. You have people on your team that have quit the business. You just don't know it yet. They're not producing anymore. And why is that? They were excited. They started talking to a bunch of people at the very beginning, but they've vanished because they're frightened by certain things you're asking them to do. It's not natural it's not natural. The things that you're asking them to say or do is not natural to them. And so you got to find things that they can see themselves doing. It might not be completely natural, but it needs to fit inside of their element. And I think that's very important. There's different ways, people, I always tell a prospect I'm talking to about our business, people say, well, how exactly do you do it? And without me knowing exactly what they would be interested in doing or what they'd be afraid of doing, I say, look, we can build this business online and offline, warm market and cold market. If you're the kind of person that likes to talk to people face to face, we're really good at that. If you're the kind of person that would rather, sit at home in your home office or on your couch and communicate via texting on your phone, we're really good at that. If you are interested in social media and finding ways to be able to get information out to a broad audience and use attraction marketing, we're good at that. So you have to help them figure out a lane to build their business in, that you're not trying to jam a square into a round hole, and empower them. And again, after they get going, they're going to see other people on the training calls, at events in their company that are doing it maybe other ways, and they're getting great results. And once they've got some confidence built up in what came natural to them, they're going to start being inquisitive and more open-minded about other methodologies, and you inch them along that way. And so another note I took, and I'm going to end with this: my mission is to help people love their life. That was another quote from a speaker. My mission is to help the people on my team love their life. That means if I am talking all the time about work, baby, work, all the time, it's just nothing but work, they're not going to love their life. And they're not going to want to listen to me about it anymore. And they're not going to want to be in a business where the only way that you'll be appreciated and you'll be able to succeed is if it's work 24/7. So yes, people do need leadership to help them to understand that, yes, there's work that needs to get done. And a good leader helps to keep people around the bonfire, keep them hot, keep them warm, keep them going. It brings some accountability. It brings some coaching, and people need to be led. But we also need to be mindful that we want people to love their life, meaning that the network marketing business that they're building is a part of their life. So in order for them to love their life, if that person doesn't love network marketing and what comes with that, you need to make sure that because of network marketing, they have the freedom to now also do other things they love even more, which is maybe golfing, fishing, shopping, hanging out with their kids, going to church, going on missions or whatever. My mission, our mission is to help people love their life. And I found that network marketing allows people the ability to design their life the way they want to live it. Meaning outside of a cubicle or an office, outside of the confines of an employment scenario where a boss is dictating most of their waking hours. How great is it that we get to give people that kind of autonomy and bring the confines, the boundaries, or the bars, like almost an unseen prison bars. We get to help people remove that. Now, we don't guarantee. We got to be very careful. We don't say join us and we're gonna and you're gonna have freedom. No, okay. Freedom, time freedom, financial freedom. We got to be careful that we don't make promises. We don't know what they're going to do to go out and create the results that are going to allow them to enjoy those things. So we don't make guarantees. They're going to have to show up and create that freedom for themselves. And then secondarily, people get also a little confused sometimes where they think, oh, I got freedom. Well, no, you haven't done the work yet. The freedom is something that you want, but until you go out and build a big customer base and recruit a big team that's helping you to add to the customer base, until you build your business, freedom ain't there. Have you heard people? You always hear people say freedom isn't free. Like people that serve in the military and fight for our country to give us our freedoms. Freedom isn't free in that way, but freedom isn't free in our entrepreneurial way. You got to put in the effort and the time and everything that goes with it to create the result that you want. And the business results that you get will let you have the life that you want to live. That result comes after you create the results. So, all right, I gotta go. I'm appreciative. We've had a whole bunch of you guys on here watching live as we've been going. I wish I had time to get in the comments and have a little conversation with you guys. But I want to get to your day. Again, go back to the beginning. Listen to the overcoming objections tip I gave at the beginning a few times. Have your team listen to it a few times. Because once you and your team get really good at having conversations, and whether the prospect is either interested or not interested, positive or negative, you know exactly how to respond 100% of the time, where you're not arguing with them, but you're agreeing with them, even on something where it's an objection, like, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I wouldn't be good at this, I'm not interested, it's a pyramid, whatever. Guess what? You use the tip I gave you, and every one of those conversations does not end. It keeps on going, but it turns them where you're talking with them instead of at them, and they now are listening to you. Have a great day, guys. See you soon.